Hey there, Alyssa Lebrack, nutritionist and gut expert. I'm excited to be back this week, and I'm coming to you guys with a requested topic. Yesterday, I jumped into our free Facebook group. If you're not already in there, come over, come join us, the Love Your Guts IBS support group. And I polled everyone and I said, listen guys, every Thursday we go live on Facebook, and normally I pick the topic for you guys, but this week I really wanted to throw it out to you guys and see what you wanted to learn from me, and I don't know, figure what are you guys struggling with? I'm always listening to you guys and hearing where you're running into roadblocks. And it was kind of fun to switch it up this week because you guys had a lot of really awesome questions, which I promise are going to come in weeks to come. If I didn't pick your question, I promise I'm going to cover it. But this came up in a couple of different ways in the group, and I want to see if I can't pull it up really quickly. Well, first of all, one of the main questions that's been really hot in the group this week in our free Facebook group was, how do they diagnose IBS? And we had a really similar question come up on the poll. I'm not going to be able to find it now. Anyways, it was something to the effect of understanding how you figure out if you have IBS and like how doctors determine that. And the truth is that I got really excited about this question because I'm going to save you guys a boatload of time. I have a secret to tell you, in fact. And you can't get mad at me. You can't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. You cannot promise me you're going to shoot the messenger. The truth is, you don't have IBS. You don't have IBS. In fact, some of you guys are probably watching this and you're like, I do have IBS. My doctor told me I have IBS. You don't have IBS. Let me explain what you do have going on and why you don't have IBS happening. The thing is that IBS is not a real diagnosis. It's not a disease. It's the doctor saying, you've got gut issues going on and we don't really know what's happening here. We have no solution for it. And it's really important that you understand that, because the big mistake that I see happening is people chasing after an IBS diagnosis. Okay. And the thing is that's kind of like a cat chasing its tail. It just doesn't yield in any results. You don't get to any resolution, and you eventually just like flop over exhausted and you're like, I guess this is just what it's going to look like the rest of my life. And that's not the freaking truth, right? IBS is not a thing. Like it's not a real diagnosis. It is a symptom. It's basically a label that says you've got gut issues. Okay. And so what doctors will do when they give you an IBS diagnosis, if you have received this or if you're chasing after an IBS diagnosis, the process for that is going to be, or maybe you're already midway through this or you're just starting this, but again, I'm going to save you some time. The doctors will do their due diligence. They will have you do colonoscopy, endoscopy, all the scans, dyes, transit testing, gastric emptying testing, all of the shit. Right? They're going to have you do all of the dang testing. And that's important to an extent because we want to rule out disease. That's what it is they're ruling out disease. They're looking to say, do you have cancer? Do you have colitis, Crohn's, gastritis, GERD, Barrett's esophagus, massive reflux, like diverticulitis, diverticulosis? Is there any sort of diseased state happening inside your gut? And if they do all of the tests and it comes back clear, who here, if you're watching, I want to hear you in the comments, have you had all the tests done and it's all come back normal? Is that you? If you have had all of the tests done and it's come back normal, then that's typically when you will land an IBS diagnosis. And what happens after that is really a series of symptom management tools. And I'm going to say it like it is. I'm going to call a spade a spade. It's neglect, right? A elimination of disease from testing to say, nope, you don't have colitis, nope, you don't have Crohn's, nope, you don't have diverticulitis, or whatever it is. The next step that comes in the medical world is neglect of the functionality of your body. It's not intentional. It's not to be malicious, okay? It's a lack of tools in that toolbox. Your doctor is trained in the diagnosis of disease and management of symptoms. And so just because you don't have colitis or don't have Crohn's, or maybe you do, but just because they said the end of the road is here and this is the medication you can take for the rest of your life, like here, take this omeprazole, take this Linzess and shit your pants tomorrow if you're constipated. Like, just because they've said that's the end of the road, that's not the end of the road, folks. That is the beginning of the road to neglect of underlying damage and deficiencies that are happening in your gut that are impacting the functionality of your body. Meaning, you didn't have all these things, but you're symptomatic. They're not testing the underlying damage and deficiencies that impact your body's ability to function on a day-to-day basis, which is why you're still presenting symptoms, but coming back negative in all the tests. There's a big difference between disease diagnosis and the functionality of your body. What gets you to a disease state is the neglect of damage and deficiencies that impact the functionality of your body, and that ignored over and over and over again for years and years and years is what creates disease. So when a doctor says it's just IBS, take this Linzess, go home and come back if it gets worse, that is neglect of the functionality of your body. And I saw this in my own sister, guys. I haven't shared this with you guys in, well, it feels like forever, but my sister, the reason I got into this was my sister was diagnosed with colitis. She wasn't diagnosed with colitis until grade 11 or grade 12 of high school. But I remember distinctly her being in and out of the doctor's office in elementary school, like at a very young age, and them saying, it's just IBS. Just don't eat tomatoes. Don't eat the foods that hurt your stomach. And because that was neglected for so many years, it did develop into colitis. Okay, now I'm not saying this to scare you guys. Crohn's and colitis runs in my family, so we were kind of at a disadvantage to begin with. But I want to really shake you guys to say, wake up. IBS is not something you should be chasing. That diagnosis isn't going to fix shit. What we want you to do, I want you to take your power back, and I'm going to teach you exactly what you do need to be chasing. Okay, so grab a pen and paper because I'm about to list it out. All right, these are the exact things that we help our clients fix in the Love and Trust Your Guts program. So the very first thing that you want to be chasing, I want you to chase this shit down. You need to figure out what kind of bad bacteria are going on inside your gut. All right, when I hear IBS, what I really hear is, okay, noted, this person has an overgrowth of bad bacteria. That's what we know for sure. It's not a question of if you have some sort of bacterial overgrowth, it's what kind is it? What kind is it? Do you know? If you've been to a practitioner and they are treating you for some sort of bacteria and they have not put you through any sort of testing, functional testing, important, not the kind, you won't get this kind of testing through your doctor, not because there's nothing wrong with your doctor. Your doctor has tools available to him for disease diagnosis, not bad bacteria, some bad bacteria. Usually not the optimal route of testing. For example, they'll test H. pylori through blood. That's not testing H. pylori. Okay, if you're testing through blood for H. pylori, they're only testing antigens, not the bacteria themselves. Stool testing is what you want to look for, right? Not commonly done through a doctor. So you want functional testing to rule out what kinds of bad bacteria are present in your gut. Okay, you got to chase that right now. Chase that. And if you are not getting tested, you are guessing, and promise me you'll stop spending money on shit you don't know if you need it. You don't know if it's gonna work. Don't waste your money on the supplements. I don't care if you need to save up for a year to put that money towards a proper test. Don't buy supplements unless you know you need it. And you don't know if you need it unless you've been tested. I'm saying this with so much love, guys, because I wasted so much money guessing. I wasn't willing to invest in my health up front, and I learned that the hard way. And now I know that in order for me to achieve health, both mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and even in business, I have to invest in my health. So please, guys, invest your money in the testing that will get you the data, so you know what types of bacteria are going on, so that you know what kind of supplements you need. All right? Now, the second thing that you guys need to be chasing, okay, not the IBS diagnosis. I want you guys to be chasing what types of damage are going on inside your gut. All right? Now, damage can be caused from several different things. It could be stress. It could be trauma. It could be even just life events like traveling. If you've ever had to take an antibiotic before, if you're getting a little heavy on the coffee or alcohol, not drinking enough water. Yeah, what else? There was one other good one I was going to say. Oh yeah, things that are completely out of your control, like aging and environmental toxins. Like there's just so many things, guys, that we get exposed to that just damages our gut just due to sheer wear and tear. Just like on your car goes through wear and tear, and it's why you do maintenance on your car, right? Same thing happens to your gut. So what kind of types of damage do you need to be looking into? You need to look into, do you have leaky gut? Do you have leaky gut? Don't guess. If you haven't been tested, you don't know for sure, right? That's the truth. That's the truth. And it stings a little because you're like, what? I have to be tested? Yeah, we can assume there's a good chance you have leaky gut, but you never know for sure how bad it is or when it's gone for sure unless we test. And the big mistake that I see happen a lot of the times is people start feeling better and they get to the point where they're like, I feel like $1 million. I have not felt this way in so long, or this is the best I've ever felt. And they take the foot off the gas, but they didn't retest to see, like, am I in the clear? And then, 6 months later, things start flaring up again. It's not that what you did didn't work before. It's maybe that you didn't finish what you were doing. So you need to test. So things like leaky gut. The other thing you want to look into in terms of damage are like motility. Are you having motility issues happening? This is really, really important. So whether it's too fast or too slow, we want to be looking at what types of damage are happening internally that we need to go in and work on. All right. Last thing you want to look at are deficiencies. So, and I hope you guys are still writing this down because this is really, really important. And I'm telling you, if you did just these 3 things, if you focused on what types of bad bacteria are there, what damage is happening, and what deficiencies, if you got the testing to figure out what those were, that would be a game changer for you. Okay, so deficiencies, there's a lot that falls under deficiencies. So bear with me for a second. So the first kind of group that we want to look at are deficiencies in terms of enzymes. And a lot of the times people will go out and they'll buy a random digestive enzyme from the health food store. But the problem is that there's many different types of enzymes, and you need to understand what types of enzymes break down what types of foods and which specific enzymes you are depleted in. So that's the first thing you want to figure out, because if you are depleted in enzymes, you're not going to break your foods down properly. And it's often not enough just to go take the supplement. A lot of the times there's certain types of bad bacteria like H. pylori and parasites and SIBO that will actually keep your enzymes depleted. And so that's important that you aren't on this like constant bus of just supplementing and not getting to the reason why you're depleted or have those deficiencies. Make sense? Another good example of that are minerals like iron, and I'll even add vitamins like B12. Many of you guys will be watching this and will be thinking, yep, I'm anemic, or I have low iron or low B12 and I'm exhausted. Who here is dragging their butt through the day? Many times I see this happen, that you will be put on iron supplementation and then you end up constipated, and it's just like this cycle, right? It's not just enough, guys, to take the iron supplementation. If you are low in iron, why are you low? Why do you have these deficiencies? Okay? So we gotta be thinking about bigger picture. We don't want to just supplement all the time. We want to understand why we're depleted. All right? So deficiencies like iron, vitamins, minerals, we got to look at that too. Let me see if there's any other deficiencies that we want to take a look at. Ooh, actually, what I should add here, this is a good one, is toxicity. Yes, how did I almost forget about this? I'm gonna give you 4 bonus. Write this one down too, toxicity. You wanna be chasing what kind of toxins are presenting in your body, okay? So let me give you, there's 2 big examples, big ones. One, heavy metals. Heavy metals, holy smokes. What we do with our clients is we have their minerals tested, and we can also, through mineral testing, we usually pair that with heavy metal toxicity testing. And it's incredible to see how many people have heavy metal toxicity happening, especially in cases of SIBO and just general gut issues. We see it presenting a lot. And what we find is a lot of these bacteria will use heavy metals to build biofilms. This is another great question that one of you guys requested, and I promise we're gonna do a whole other talk on this, on understanding biofilms and bacteria. But I'm gonna give you a quick overview. Bacteria will build these biofilms. It's like a house or a protective wall, and they go into hiding. And they will often use things like excess calcium and heavy metals to build up these biofilms to hide behind. And so what we find in a lot of cases when people have tried to get rid of SIBO or bad bacteria in the past is they haven't gotten rid of those biofilms. And so they feel great while they're on supplements, but as soon as they come off of them, their symptoms start flaring up again. And this is simply a case of the bacteria go into hiding in their house behind the biofilms. As soon as danger goes away, aka the supplements, then all the bacteria come out to play again. You want to burn down that house, aka the biofilms, so that bacteria don't have a place to hide. And that's why you need to be understanding what toxins are presenting in your body. The last toxin I'm going to mention here is mold. Mold exposure. That's a really loaded topic. Everything from brain fog, fatigue, memory issues, skin issues, chronic fatigue syndrome, even fibromyalgia. We're seeing a lot of connection behind mold. So if you've ever had mold exposure, even if you've ever eaten moldy food, I've had clients in the past that, they'll take out the one moldy berry and then they eat the rest of the container. No, I have a thing about mold. As soon as I see one spot on a food, like if it's in a container, gone, the whole thing, gone. If you can see mold in one spot, then guaranteed the mold spores have spread everywhere. They just haven't blossomed yet. Get that shit gone. Whether you're eating it, whether it's in your bathroom, in your home, somewhere, mold will absolutely impact your gut and your ability to heal. So, hope that's been helpful, guys. I know you guys had a couple questions. So let me just scroll on up here. I think Chelsea's the first one here. Okay, where'd you go, Chelsea? Where'd you go, girl? There you are. Okay, Chelsea says, I feel like I haven't seen your videos for a long time. Miss your info. Well, hey girl, hey, I'm back. Honestly, it's been a lot. I did take a couple weeks off at the end of August because I got married. But while I was away, my house, actually, the day of our wedding, our apartment flooded, and it's been a lot. And we just bought a house this week, and we've just got a lot going on, but I am here. And we did a Facebook Live last week, and I'm doing my best to hang in here every Thursday. But I won't lie, it's been hard. So I'm here, and I miss you guys too. because I feel like it's been a minute since I've been in the free group. I'll be in there in the next week or so. I've got some good info coming your way. All right, Lisa's saying, is there a test that tests bacteria, leaky gut, and deficiencies? Great question. Lisa, some of the tests that we typically work with our clients on are GI map tests, GI map stool testing. We also work with hair mineral analysis, SIBO testing, like SIBO breath test. These are some of the common tests that we work with our clients on to rule out all of the things. Everything from bad bacteria, whether it's candida, parasites, H. pylori, staph, strep infections, E. coli, giardia, norovirus, like all of the things, all of them. We get to the bottom of all of them. Leaky gut also done through stool testing. Deficiencies typically done through hair. All right. Okay, guys, I think that's it for this week. If you found this helpful, can you do me a favor? Can you give it a big old thumbs up? And if you're catching the replay on YouTube, you know what to do. Just give it a I'm freaking tired. Can you tell? Subscribe. Would you subscribe and keep hanging out with me? Every Thursday we go live on Facebook. If you're tuning in from Facebook, you'll know what to do. Just come back to our Facebook page every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then YouTube, you guys get all the deets the next day. And geez, Rula's got a question. I'm going to answer this one too, because I love when you guys got questions. I'm still waiting for SIBO results. I could only do the 1 hour because I'm diabetic. How long does this typically take? And how does this test affect antibiotics, probiotics use? Great question. You're definitely going to need the 3-hour breath test. And I know seeing that you're diabetic, I see that loud and clear. If you have to drink the solution for the 1 hour test, it doesn't make a difference whether that's 1 hour or 3 hour. If you're drinking the solution, you're drinking the solution. So you want to make sure it's a 3-hour test, and you want to make sure that they're testing both hydrogen and methane. How long does this typically take? I don't know where you ordered it from, and so I'm assuming you mean like how long it takes to get your results. So I can't answer that question because I'm not sure where you ordered it from. And how does this test affect antibiotic, probiotic use? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. How does it affect antibiotics? The test itself won't affect antibiotics or probiotic use. It won't impact like the effectiveness of if you happen to be taking antibiotics or probiotics. I'm not sure if that's what you meant by that question, but whether you decide to take antibiotics, let's say you have SIBO, whether you decide to take antibiotics or probiotics or whatever, you're going to need a whole lot more than just those two things to tackle SIBO. You'll want to go through all of the things that I chatted through tonight, what other bad bacteria are present, because SIBO never hangs out alone, what other types of damage and deficiencies are going on, and what sort of toxicity is happening in your body, and approaching all of those things so that the SIBO doesn't keep coming back. Okay, guys. That's it for this week. I hope you have an awesome one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.